But I want you guys just to see this chart just here really quick. This is a chart from '03 describing anti-Semitism, not happening someplace else, but right here in America. And you would think we have law and order, and we would think that we have a constitution, and people would respect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness of others. But anti-Semitism on the increase. And then we had this shooting last night. I want you guys to respond to this.
Shock and outrage after 2 staff members at Israel's embassy in Washington, D.C. were shot and killed on Wednesday evening. 30-year-old Yaron Lashinsky and 26-year-old Sarah Milgram were an Israeli couple. They were exiting an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum when a person opened fire. Eyewitnesses say that he later pretended to be a witness.
We believe the shooting was committed by a single suspect who is now in custody. Prior to the shooting, the suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum.
Eyewitness video obtained by CNN appears to show the suspect as he's taken into custody.
Free Palestine!
Police have identified him as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez from Chicago, who they say turned himself in and shouted free Palestine while being handcuffed, as seen in this video. The FBI and D.C. police have launched their investigation, and the Israeli embassy is assisting. The NGO IsraAid, whose members were keynote speakers at the event, said the gathering was focused on humanitarian aid, including for Gaza.
I'm still in a bit of state of shock. But, what started off as a night of humanity and love and connection turned into this kind of horrific, atrocious nightmare.
Another eyewitness told CNN that the gunman went into the museum after the attack and then turned himself in, saying, "I did it for Gaza." Israel's ambassador to the U.S. said the young couple who was killed was about to be engaged.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple who came to enjoy an evening in Washington's Cultural Center.
Wow, lots of things there. Josh, tell us what you know about the couple as far as being believers and so forth.
As far as I understand, from very sound sources, they are believers in Jesus, so we know where they are, and we praise God for that. But it doesn't make it any easier. And it is really disheartening to understand everything that video explained and that was being discussed previous to their brutal murders was about Gaza, and then for the murderer himself, the terrorist, to go in and in the name of Gaza, shoot them down. It's despicable.
So this young Jewish couple, diplomats, were to be married, and they're in heaven. And they're going to be there at the marriage supper of the Lamb. I mean, we got some things to look forward to. But I do want you to be praying for their families, because as this becomes a national, not only communicated nationally, but there's going to be a national service for them across the land of Israel. Everyone will be watching. And we need to pray that God would supernaturally place, whether it's their pastors or their fathers and so forth, in those spaces, if you will. To communicate the hope that they have in Jesus Christ. It's going to be an interesting time. Pray for Jewish people to respond. Ken, the guy's saying, I did this for Gaza. I mean, you've served as a police officer. You've seen these sort of things. Is this a hate crime?
Absolutely. And you're right, this is a spiritual battle. 1 John 4:3 tells us that every spirit that does not confess that Jesus Christ is Lord is of this is that spirit of Antichrist that we're seeing covering the entire planet, and it's here. I mean, we're witnessing it. So absolutely, this is a spiritual battle that obviously manifests into what we're seeing physically. I believe we're going to see more and more violence come out of this. I think that this is just the beginning. This summer, I think, we really have to be careful and watch what we're doing, watch where we're going, be aware of your surroundings, because you're going to see more and more of this. We can go 5 miles from here and see this exact same thing that's going on, this spirit of Antichrist that's covering the planet, and these violent protests. And then people are going to get to the point where they say, that's it, that's enough. And when the pushback comes, guess who's going to get blamed? The people that push back. They're going to call them white nationalists and white supremacists, and it doesn't matter what race you are. They want this. They want this confrontation. David was telling us yesterday that in Gaza, what they did when they attacked Israel, they knew what the retribution was going to be. They knew Israel was going to fight back. Well, so do these protesters. They know this is planned. This is very well organized. They know people are going to push back, and that's what they want.
Yeah, and you were just talking about Gaza and how they take the food and they keep it from the people. Part of the reason is that for doing that is it's a photo op, right? If we've got lots of people in Gaza that are hungry, starving, not getting water and so forth, it doesn't matter if you bring that in or not, it doesn't take good pictures. It doesn't present the plight that we want people to perceive. And I've seen that across Africa, the UN bringing in food, literally trucks of rice and so forth, not given to the people so that way they can continue to say, oh, we need more help. And it's just horrible. It just goes into the underground. So not surprising.